decision was good enough in Bush versus Gore to be settled law. A 5-4 decision in United Citizens was good enough to allow corporations to run America. But all of a sudden, a 5-4 decision in Supreme Court that you expect the EPA and us to just ignore. Now, I want to make sure that we're clear about this. The Supreme Court decision, which binds all of us who have taken an oath to the Constitution at the moment, says, quote, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxides, and hydrofluorocarbons are without a doubt, quote, physical and chemical substances which are emitted into the ambient air. The statute is unambiguous. Close quote. The statute is unambiguous. Madam Secretary, is this clear that you are bound by this decision and that we've got to regulate CO2?
Absolutely, sir.
And I want to tell you that the last witness, Senator Inhofe, and we appreciate him coming here. We know he's a person of strong beliefs. He tells us he's writing a book called The Hoax. Now, I haven't seen it, but I think it's about the alleged Apollo moon landing on the lunar surface, because we know there are people that are still out there doubting that. They're doubting that the National Academy of Science has confirmed we landed on the moon. They're doubting the IPCC that confirmed we've landed on the moon, but there are still those who doubt. And I want to ask you about the status of science on this. Could I have the picture of the Arctic here put up, please? I ask the clerk, thank you. This is a picture. I'm afraid it's not as visible as I would have liked. This is a picture of the current status of the Arctic ice cap in September. It's difficult to view, but there's a red line showing what the Arctic ice cap used to look like before we started dumping millions of tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And what it shows is the Arctic ice cap has now shrunk about 40% by mass. Now, scientists several years ago thought it was going to disappear in its entirety. And this is the ice cap of the world. This is the air conditioner for the world. This is what controls the ambient air, bounces light back into, and it's going to disappear. Now, scientists thought it was by 2040. Now we think it might be within this decade actually being gone. Now, my understanding of the status of the science, National Science Foundation, National Academy of Science, International Panel on Climate Change, 2,500 scientists who sent this committee a letter dated a couple days ago saying that this science is clear by compelling, cogent, and consistent evidence in the peer-reviewed literature that we are having an impact on climate, visibly in many, many manifestations. This being just one of them. I have not been able to find, and I understand for political purposes, people are trying to drum up questions about this. I understand politics. But I have not been able to find a peer-reviewed scientific study that challenges this finding of the consensus of scientists in America, including those who work for the United States Navy, and they do a pretty good job on our submarines. Is it a fair statement that there is wide consensus about the science upon which you've made this finding?
Yes, sir. It is very broad and based on multiple lines of research.
And are you aware of any single peer-reviewed scientific journal which has questioned the foundations of the relationship between our actions on Earth and the increase in CO2 in the atmosphere? Because I am not.
I am not, sir.
Now, I tell you what, I hear a lot of political flacks. I hear a lot of people on television saying this science is questionable, but we can't find one single peer-reviewed research study that has questioned this science. And I hope people are distributing information of this hearing will point out that the Republican Party that wants to pass this Dirty Air Act will not produce one single peer-reviewed scientific piece of literature which questions the finding of the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, I think that's pretty stunning that they want to put our kids' health at risk and won't produce one peer-reviewed piece of research to support their conclusion. One last question on the economy. In fact, the research has shown that we increase our economy by a factor of 3 or 4 every time we make an investment under the Clean Air Act. And I want to put in the record, and you made reference to this. It's a study by industry and institutional investment. It's called New Jobs, Cleaner Air, and it finds as a result of your proposal, there will be a estimated job gains in Illinois of 2,695 jobs associated with the new construction jobs, the new scientific jobs the new jobs and utilities associated with making the air cleaner. Is it a fair thing to believe that as we make our air cleaner, we can grow our economy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Recognize the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. I'd like to state that this hearing